Welcome to Stargate SG-1 for the first time, still not a Star Trek podcast. My name is Jeff Akin, and I'm watching Stargate SG-1 for the first time.
And I'm Brent Allen, and I'm watching Stargate SG-1 for the 47th time. But for the first time, I am looking for what Stargate is trying to teach us, those sci-fi messages. You know, those lessons that hold up a mirror to society, give us hope things can be better in the future, or just plain tell us how to be better human beings to one another.
Strap in, everybody. We are going to be here for a while. We're watching 2 episodes today. We're watching episodes 12 and 13 of the 3rd season of SG-1, Jolinar's Memories and The Devil You Know. My guess on the first one, we're going to experience some of Jolinar's memories, and then The Devil You Know, right? Hey, maybe. For The Devil You Know, I think we're going to find out the Tok'ra aren't the angels that we've been led to believe. We're going to have some Hammond and Jacob stuff, and we'll culminate in basically like, well, do we go with try to find a new devil, or do we stick with the devil we know? I'm excited for these, Brent. I've loved all the Tok'ra and Jolinar stuff. Why don't you drop some details on these episodes for us?
Well, I'm not going to hold this out too terribly long. These are the 12th and 13th episodes of season 3, as you've mentioned, Jolinar's Memories and The Devil You Know. Air dates October 22nd and 29th. I always find it interesting with stuff like this. Like sometimes they air them together, like as a solid episode. They didn't. I'm not sure if this was sweeps week or just middle of the season 2-parter that they wanted to do. They didn't go into a break or anything after this, so
it was a great confluence of events, right? Because this is the second one, the part 2 is their Halloween episode, and it says devil.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that, but that's absolutely truth.
That's how they program.
Both episodes here are directed by Peter DeLuise, so we'll be on the lookout for that cameo that we know he's going to drop in there. As far as writing it, though, the first episode is written by some newcomers. I'm not even going to bother to say their names. We're never going to see from them again. But the second one is written by Stargate bigwig Robert C. Cooper, so strap in for that. They have never missed on an episode that they have ever written together.
Never, except for the times they did.
Yeah. But for the most part, it should be pretty good. I don't know. We'll find out from you, Jeff, what you think from your first time watch. I'm not trying to color it one way or the other. I'm just going to let you have that first time watch. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into all of this. If you guys are joining us for the very first time, you guys are like, wait, haven't you watched the episode yet? Haven't you watched already? No, we're not, because what's getting ready to happen is Jeff and I are going to watch the episode together right now. We're going to do it. And if you are watching with us on YouTube, you're going to get our reaction to the next 2 episodes. We're going to do them together as one. You're going to catch that reaction. If you want the full unedited double feature length way, head over to our Patreon page and you can catch all that over there at patreon.com/Bye Nerds.
If you're listening on a podcasting app, we're going to meet you on the other side. We'll probably do a check-in between the 2 episodes, as we tend to do on these 2-parters. But when we come back after The Devil You Know, I'll share my first-time reactions. Brent will share any of the sci-fi messages that he has pulled down. We got a lot of SG-1 in front of us, Brent. Let's kick it off with Jolinar's Memories.
Chevron 7 locked.
All right. Hey, Jeff. So we've just finished watching the first half of this. Before we jump into the second half, give us you had a big surprise right there at the very end. Give us your quick reaction to Jolinar's Memory.
Huge surprise. Last week, they totally dropped the ball with the ending. This week, knocked it out of the park. Freaking Apophis is back. Holy crud. I dug this episode. The cold open to this one we talked about during the episode was like they needed 4 words and we're in. All I needed to see was that, taking off the little thing and being like, I am Apophis. I want the next episode. Like, I am so in right now.
This may be a question for on the back end. So remind me when we get there. But my question to you is, how surprised were you to see Apophis?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question.
Because the last time we saw him, he dead and he went to Sokar. Like that's the last we saw was he dead. Dead. And they reinforced it in an episode earlier in the season, Rules of Engagement. So let's jump into the, hey, Jeff, The Devil You Know.
Oh, let's jump right into him.
Oh, there you go.
Chevron 7 locked.
All right, Jeff. First of all, welcome back to all our audio folks who have gated through 2 episodes. You and I have just watched Jolinar's Memories and The Devil You Know back to back right here, right now. We just finished 30 seconds ago. Take us through it. Your first time watch. Talk to us about these 2 episodes.
These episodes are pretty ridiculous, if I'm being honest. I'm going to encapsulate the ridiculousness of them in just this one thing. So, like, pick up my phone, right? I'm a normal person. I'm going to say, hey, Brent, it's Apophis. How's it going? I'm down on Natu. Need to talk about something really quick. But here's this episode. Brent, this is Apophis, your god, calling you from the fires of hell on Natu. What? And he said it multiple times. I love that Apophis is back. And you asked me between episodes to remind you to ask this. And I want to start off with this. How surprised was I when Apophis showed up? As surprised he was dead. To me, like, Apophis was gone. He was dead. We were finished. Well played by you. As we were kind of going through the gold that had been killed, you're like, oh yeah, but you know, Apophis died from something else, so they didn't really, they didn't kill him. Yeah, he wasn't dead.
And I always said, and they sent his body to Sokar. And I gotta tell you, did you truly believe when we saw Apophis die and they sent his body through the gate, he was done?
100%.
You thought he was done. Like Raw, Hathor, Seth, now Sokar, like Dunsky. So
yes, but hindsight already shows me, like, in sci-fi, you don't see the body, right? And what we saw was a somewhat living body going through.
Well, no, he was dead. He was dead at the end of that episode.
Oh, that's right. They just gave him the body, didn't they?
They literally, because I remember being so shocked that Apophis was back. I was like, oh, they brought it back.
Yeah.
And every time I watch it now, because Martouf's in that episode as well. And he says in the episode, Jeff, you go back and watch, he says in the episode, yeah, he's got a sarcophagus. He's probably going to bring him back, and he likes to torture his people. So he's just going to bring him back and torture him a whole lot. So, like, he tells you in that episode, Apophis isn't dead. Like, he's going to come back. They tell you. And I was like, "Urgh."
Yeah, I totally thought he was dead.
I'm glad you missed it. I'm glad you thought he was really dead. I like, from the show's standpoint, how we had that episode earlier in the season where they reminded us he was dead, and they showed it to us again with the Rules of Engagement episode. So I like that they had that. It was good ploy on their part to throw that in and keep that fresh.
Prepare for incoming gold channel communication.
Before we gate into the rest of this episode, did you know you're missing most of the content from this podcast? Stargate SG-1 for the first time has an active and exciting Patreon that you can join right now by clicking the link in the show notes. Not only will you get access to the full, unedited podcast and reaction videos, you'll also be able to join a growing, vibrant, maybe even an intergalactic community. Subscribers even get access to all of our content from Babylon 5 for the first time. Don't miss out on this content and the amazing people. Just click the link in the show notes. Tilk thinks you should do it right now.
Indeed.
For a show that doesn't plan, necessarily arcs or stories and stuff like that, this was perfect. It was so good. Yeah, he literally, so let me just read through my journey on this. So I started off talking about Binar, where I'm like, okay, she says there's a Goa'uld that is less than attractive. And as soon as she said that, my note is 100% Jolinar slept with dude to escape. So we knew that was coming, and then we got it. Then I thought the casting for Binar was really good. And then Neonak comes in and blasts Binar. So I'm like, Prime dude, Neonak is Tok'ra. Oh my God. He just took out Binar. Wait, nope. What? It's Apophis. I can't believe it. It's just so perfectly done. I have questions around what happened between Sokar receiving Apophis and then him ended up undercover on Natu. Like, did Sokar think he was dead and sent him, like, because he's clearly on the right side of his face. Like, he's been through some stuff. He's got the Phantom of the Opera thing going. His teeth are all messed up. He wasn't like that when he died on Earth. He was old man Apophis.
He also has clearly been through a sarcophagus to get young again.
With hair, I loved, I just said here, the acting of Apophis is next level. Like, just the way he was in the character, it was fun. It was fun to watch him doing this stuff. I think, like, this was a heavy episode, and it had a ton of lore and story in it, but it was fun at the same time.
Yeah.
I love how just evil Apophis is. I think this is the first time for me, well, maybe not the first time, but this is, it's really remarkable to me that my favorite parts of this show, like even as I look at my notes, nothing to do with the SG-1 team.
Yeah.
The story and the acting and the draw for me was Apophis and Sokar. I want that show. I want those two like at each other's throats, you know, and trying and going after each other. These are two characters. Apophis to me up until this point was the big villain, but he was kind of ridiculous. I've already used that word once. He was kind of lame in a way. He bloviated all the time. What I started off with, this is your god, Apophis. That's all he had. He was almost Dr. Evil in his whole, like, I am so evil, I'm going to do these things.
Right.
But now, like, dude, he got in their heads. He was Charlie for Jack. And, oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So often TV shows are afraid to go full evil with somebody. Or if they do go evil, they'll make them give speeches, or they'll make stupid choices, or they'll pause and they leave all those openings for stuff. Not Apophis. Like they took him all the way to 11 and didn't let up. There's some pretty interesting stuff around Sam and Jacob, just, the family stuff going on. I think we saw the genesis of their rocky relationship. Found out that her mom passed away because Jacob couldn't pick her up. She took a cab. Cab got hit by a car. And when she was younger, blamed Jacob for some of that. She's since forgiven him and moved forward, but it's really seemed to me that was some of the roots of what they had. Reminded us of the Harcesis, and that's Daniel's new purpose. So that was pretty cool. And then I think for me, like my last note was, wait, did Sokar and friends escape the blast, or did they get blowed up? And the way they ended this episode, Brent, was just, I think at one point, nameless Tok'ra guy had this bomb, and Teal'c was like, yeah, we're not going to let this bomb go off. And you're like, oh, look, it's the plot of the movie right here. This was a movie. Like these, like so often you have a two-parter that are 2 episodes that stand alone or whatever. The pacing of
that are connected with a little cliffhanger.
This was one full story. In fact, it's almost shocking. They showed it over 2 different weeks, but this is one that like the cliffhanger isn't, it's not best of both worlds. Oh my God, they're going to kill Picard. This is what? Apophis is back and I got to know what's going to happen. Oh, to wait would have been horrible, even the week. But the pacing on the first episode was really good. My note there is that the episode ended and I really felt like the story was just getting started. I didn't feel like it was slow or dragging. And for a film, like a movie, that's the perfect point. Like, here we go. Mm-hmm. And that second episode just hit it running. And that final scene of the moon exploding, that's half of their season budget, just putting that scene together.
Right.
And then Apophis turning around and just facing the camera. It's just like, oh, that was huge. I loved it. I really loved these episodes. That's what I thought about it. Brent, did you get any sci-fi messages out of either of these 2 episodes, or even both of them?
Well, let's talk about that in a second. Let's go back and update our count list.
That's right.
I had nothing.
Nope.
We've already counted Martouf as a Sam boyfriend, have we not?
We have.
And even if we hadn't, I don't know that they had enough of a connection in this particular episode to qualify that as a love interest between the two. This really was Sam and then Jolinar's old boyfriend, whatever. Like there really wasn't the sexual tension I think that you get in maybe some of the other Martouf episodes.
This would be the situation of, so I was dating, this isn't a story, I'm just giving, I was dating a girl and she passed away and now I'm talking to her sister.
And literally talking. You're not like talking. Like,
yeah, no romantic anything, just I'm interacting and I have feelings around this person who's no longer here. That's it.
Although I really wish we would have had a Daniel death. Like I wish we would have seen a sarcophagus and Daniel would have died and gotten thrown in the thing, but we didn't. I didn't get any deeds. I got no for crying out loud. It's been a while since we've added to this, so we definitely need to do that. I got to tell you, I have this as a note as I jump into this whole deal. This is certainly not a message, and this is. I fully acknowledge this is me talking about a situation I have never ever been in, and God willing, I never ever will be in. So I'm going to do that. Here's how I would respond in that situation, knowing I've never really been there. If my wife, whom I love with every fiber and ounce of my soul, were ever in a position where she had to do the unthinkable to survive and escape, I would want her to tell me, not keep it from me. Because one, that's not something she should be in alone. That's not something she should carry alone or by herself. And I'm here for her. And I will not judge her, look at her different. And I know that she may be worried that I will, but I won't. I would want to be in that with her, because we are partners. And while I understand why Jolinar chose not to tell Martouf, why I understand she didn't want to relive it, she didn't want to go through it again, she didn't want to have all that baggage, it was something she was carrying by herself. And I really, like, she should have leaned on her partner for that. In the scene when Martouf was feeling pretty bad about it, and Sam just looks at him and is like, look, like, she loves you, and don't feel bad about it. What I wanted so badly, and I almost brought it up in there for us to talk about, but I knew there'd be more of a conversation, but I just wanted Martouf to stop and look and say almost exactly that. He's like, no, I'm not angry, I'm sad. That must have been so hard for her. She must have been so scared. Yeah. And the courage that she had to do that so we could be together again, that I could be a part of her life still. Like, I just wanted, I want to love her and hug her. I feel so much compassion toward. That's what I wanted to have happen. Instead, he was just mad. But I also understand that idea too, of being mad. Anyway. Oh, of course that's how you did it. Oh yeah, you could have run away. You had to choose that, didn't you? But see, no. But see, I wouldn't be mad at her. I would be mad at him for making her go through that, and for the anger. Like I get it. I just don't think that's how I would respond at all. Anyway, my job here is not to talk about my experience watching the episode. My job here is to talk about messages that I may have picked up on. I believe you probably could pull several, like, oh, there was this one situation made me think of this, and this one situation made me think of this. And here's a great example. Jack says to Martouf, Martouf's like, yeah, listen, I'm gonna go down there by myself. There's no escape. And he's like, well, we're all going to go too. And he's like, yeah, but we don't know. If she can't remember them, we don't know, and we're out of luck. And Jack's like, yeah, but she did escape before. If it's been done once, it could be done again. Like there's always hope. You don't have to poo-poo everything. Like, we'll figure it out along the way. You don't always have to have it figured out. I could pull stuff like that out. None of that was what this episode was about. This was a two-parter. I like how you connected this to Halloween. We're literally in hell over Halloween. That's what this episode was about. This was, we got to go rescue Sam's dad. We get caught while we're in there, and we've got to figure out a way out. And Apophis comes back, and there's Sokar, and then you got to deal with Tokar. I mean, there's just all of that going on. Jeff, I did not have any messages coming out of this episode. If you have one you want to stump for, please feel free. But I've got to give this one no chevrons, because it wasn't that kind of an episode. I totally agree. Like you said, a couple of things. We even talked during the episode about the bomb
and how doing the math, it's the right call. The needs of the many outweighing the needs of the few. But that literally, like, that was just me saying the math made sense. That wasn't in the episode at all. This was, I mean, not that plot doesn't mean message, but this was just plot. But the plot was great.
Do what it takes for those you love. Like,
maybe. I mean, not really, because I think, like you said, the point of this episode was, you know, like, we're going to go get Sam's dad. We're going to this stuff. No, the point of this episode was to reintroduce Apophis and let us see Sokar. That was it.
Fun.
And then and show us the stakes that are there. Like, Sokar is no joke. Cool. We got that.
Hey, by the way, there is Harcesis child out there somewhere. We thought Apophis and Amnat were dead, so now Daniel just could kind of take a sweet bippy time figuring out where he is, figuring out where this Keb place is, or whatever the heck that is. Oh wait, shoot, Apophis is out there again.
Now there's a race.
Now it's a race. I mean, that's really where we come at this. And by the way, 2-parter, maybe it's Sweeps Week. Halloween's cool. You know, we're trying to pump ratings. We got 22 episodes we got to fill out. Not every single one of them is going to be message laden. So I go 0 chevrons. That does not indicate quality of episode, though. All it does is talk about a rating. You, my friend, however, get the chance to rank this episode in our 100% completely accurate and definitive ranking of season 3 of Stargate SG-1. Jeff, let me read our current top 5 as it sits. I don't know if this is going to crack the top 5 or not. The top 5 currently sits at Forever and a Day, number 1. Number 2 is Fair Game. Number 3 is Learning Curve. Number 4 is Into the Fire. Number 5, our last episode with Michello, is Legacy. Jeff, where do you place Jolinar? We're going to do these together as one. I mean, you could separate them, I guess, if you really wanted to, but typically together as one. Jolinar's Memory and Devil You Know. Where do you got it?
We separated at the beginning of the season for purposes. Like, those were the two episodes were very different in quality. So we separated them, put them in the different lists. This was one episode altogether. And if you couldn't guess, as I was talking about it, I loved this episode. Forever and a Day is our current number 1, which was fantastic. But so much of what I loved about that episode was the message of it and how it carried it through. And that's amazing.
Made you feel.
Big time.
It made you feel.
Made me feel, made you feel, made everyone who's seen that feel. It's a powerful episode. It's great. Unfortunately, it's not going to be our number 1 anymore because these two are, because, I mean, this was beautiful. It was fun. The pacing was amazing. And SG-1, it's got great messaging. We've learned that. But that's not what SG-1's about. SG-1 is just fun sci-fi with good stories, and that's exactly what this is. Jolinar and the Devil You Know at number 1. Jolinar's Memories and the Devil You Know are at number 1.
I'm not surprised. Not surprised.
Good. You'd be weird if you were.
Well, Jeff, that is going to do it for us here for these 2 episodes, Jolinar's Memories and the Devil You Know. Next time, Jeff, we got a brand new episode on deck for you. It is an episode called Foothold. That is one word, not 2. It's a compound word, as my children say. Foothold. Would you care to take a guess as to what Foothold might be about?
Foothold. Foothold. Okay. Okay, the SG-1 team is going to be out on assignment. They're going to get the Iris code. Like, they're coming back from the mission. It's going to open up, but it's going to be some aliens that come through. I don't think it's going to be Gould because we just did a Gould story. It's going to be somebody else. They're going to come in and they're going to attack. They're going to attack the SGC and basically get a foothold in there as SG-1 comes back. And we're going to get another kind of pew, pew, pew fighting thing, but it's going to be in the SGC. We're going to save some money after this last one. We're going to do it within the SGC and do a couple like bang bangs and pew pews to make the whole thing happen.
You're a good guesser, Jeff.
Yeah.
You're a good guesser. All right, we're going to find out next time right here on Stargate SG-1 for the first time. We'll see just how close my buddy Jeff over there is. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you're catching this show, whether you're on an audio podcast somewhere, your favorite podcatcher, maybe you're on YouTube. You could be, I don't know, where else this show is playing, Jeff. Who knows?
I
don't know. You could be watching this on the billboard of Times Square in New York.
Probably.
Anyway, leave us a rating and review wherever you find us. Please be sure to share the show with somebody out there that you know who loves Stargate or someone who needs to get into the gate for the very first time, just like my buddy Jeff over there. So with that, guys, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much. We'll see you back next week.
Brent.
What's up, bud?
So this was a great episode. We saw Nayanet come in and just blast Bynarr in this one, but we never got a chance to say goodbye to him. How would you say bye to Bynarr?
I don't know, Jeff. How would you say bye to Bynarr?
01100100100111110010101010101.